everyone, it's me, the Otaku Fango, here to review episode 4 of Caligula. So this episode was pretty straightforward, and have my own little theory about Susanna there. So from what I can tell of her past when she starts singing that song, is that she was really great in choir. Like, she had a really good singing voice, and that made people bully her, and so she isolated herself from them. At least that's what I got from that, and the visuals, especially her sitting in the toilet eating lunch alone. So that's what I think her little past is about, because they don't really, explain it, it just kind of shows it, so that's what I think. But with this episode, we have Susanna in the library, and she meets this guy named Komori, who is also in the library, and they connect through books and songs, and they even talk about Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, that's weird. They talk about Smeagol and his Precious, and Frodo and Sam, and I'm just like, this is really weird. Okay. So that whole thing just kind of was weird to me. I'm like, that's really weird. I don't know. I just found that really strange. But anyway, I knew something was wrong with that guy because you can never see his face half the time. And I'm just like, something's off about this guy. I don't know. And we learned that he's like a doll. I don't know if they said that his body in that world is also a doll. It's not that just he became a doll because he makes the people in the library become dolls. So when he got put into the world, I guess he wanted to be a doll. I don't know, because we don't really know much about his past, but we can assume he isolated himself just like Susanna did, kind of. So there's that, and that's why he stays in the library and turns people into dolls so he doesn't feel so alone, I guess. So there was that, but everything else, though, they do explain a little bit more about stuff. For instance, Mew, or whatever the virtual idol chick's name is who made this world, she actually made it with the little girl, I don't know what, they call her a fairy. I know she's not a fairy, but we can refer to her as that, yeah. She and her and Mew also made the world. I'm like, oh, so and Mew's power grows stronger, so she gets smaller. Her data gets smaller, and I'm like, oh, so that's why you're so tiny. Okay. So I thought that was interesting that they both made it together. It wasn't just Mew. Also, apparently the musicians are also people who are in this world because they want to be, so there's that. We know that they're human and all that stuff, and it's like, great, good to know. But everything else, a library, and that one guy wanting to get Susanna, I'm just like, do you like her or something, or you just feel a sense of duty to get her? Like, I don't get that. That part, it was like, okay, you're so rushy about this. Like, do you have a thing for her? You barely know her. And the relationship between Susanna and Komori, I felt was a little weird because it's like, I feel like they were kind of falling in love a bit, and I'm like, y'all don't even know each other hardly. Y'all just read books together and listen to Lorelai. And I'm just like, I don't know, it felt like they could have been a thing, but it's like, y'all have been in this library for how long? Probably like a day at most, maybe a little less. So there was that, but I don't know, it was weird. And apparently, now maybe Shonen Doll, which they call Komori, or Komori called himself, maybe he'll help them. Like, since this is based off a game, I'm assuming he helps them in the game. Like, maybe he gives them items or something, he feels like he's an NPC character, First he felt like a boss fight, like a mini boss fight, really, when he, did the transformation thing and they didn't even fight him, and I was like, well, darn, you felt like a mini boss fight, but I guess you're not. Maybe you are in the game. I don't know. Now he feels like an NPC character, so that was a thing. That was weird, but I thought maybe this episode we get everyone, awakening their powers, which they explained a little bit more in this episode. It's like negative emotions taken form, and I'm like, okay, cool, great, good to know. Thank you for actually explaining stuff and not just leaving it out in the open where we have to speculate like, ha, But other than that, not much else to say. So what do you guys think of this episode? What do you think is going to happen next? And I'll see you guys in whatever I review next. Bye!